Explaining how I became involved in the occult is unimportant. All you need to know is that we have a variety of abilities. The coven comes together to perform necessary rituals. Almost all of our practices are performed at night and performed in an intersection, also known as the crossroads. This is where the physical realm meets the spiritual realm. Failure to attend these ceremonies makes what we do less effective, so it is imperative that we congregate on certain nights to obtain power. In our village, when everyone else was fast asleep is when we would either meet in the cemetery or on a particular street that had a prominent crossroads. After all, the intersection belongs to Papalegba. My two friends and I were the youngest girls in our coven. Invincibility is what I felt being part of this coven. No one in our village could stop us. People who suspected that we were witches could never question us. And we had incredible capabilities. One of my favorite things to do was to wear sackcloth and shapeshift into any animal I could imagine. Who was going to stop us? No one. People who knew what we were would come to us and ask for spells or healing. We made good money with the people who required our assistance in the spiritual realm. The only issue I had was with this wretched woman named Bernice. I feared no adult, but Bernice made me feel uncomfortable. Sheila and Denise did not share my feelings about her. Trying to mention it once, I told them that I didn't like her at all. Sheila laughed. "Don't trouble yourself. If she ever steps out of bounds with us, we'll deal with her." They just didn't understand why I disliked her. There was something about her that made me incredibly nervous. Being younger made us more powerful. We made plans to meet at the intersection one night. I needed something done, so I brought with me a live chicken and $1,700 to offer to Papalegba. He is the spirit of the underworld. This is where we meet him to make our requests known. All three of us conjured him up, and he appeared before us to grant us whatever we wanted. He didn't need the money. It was the principle behind the ritual. That's what was important. After consulting with the spirit, you have to walk away, never turning back to look, or you'll be stuck in the spiritual realm forever. All three of us went our separate ways to meet back at our small house. We couldn't leave together. That was part of the ritual. As I was walking away, I heard a voice coming from behind me that said, "Well, look at this. I found $1,700. Finders keepers, losers weepers." Unable to turn around, the voice was familiar. It was that stupid Bernice. What the heck was she doing out here at this time of night? She isn't a witch, but this damn woman was spying on us and took the money I left behind. My ritual was not going to work, not if she took the money. Back at the house, I was fighting back tears. I lamented to Denise and Sheila that I was going to kill her, once and for all. Denise came up with a plan. We were going to have to shapeshift and scare her and show her who we were and what we could do so we can get the money back. If not, she would die. Before I'd do any harm, I decided to be fair and go to her house in person. Carefully, I explained to her that she had no right to take the $1,700 I placed in the crossroads and that she should return it to me. Rage started at the tips of my toes and rose all the way up to my neck when she said, "I don't know a thing about any ritual. I found $1,700 on the ground and I took it. I don't know what you're talking about, but that money belongs to me. And if you really needed the money, why did you leave it on the ground?" Trying to regulate my breathing, I didn't want to show her my anger. "No, Bernice, you saw what I was doing, and you know that that money doesn't belong to you. If you don't return it, I'm going to have to deal with you." It was early morning, and I politely informed her that by noon she'd drop dead if she didn't give me that money back. More rage bubbled within me when she began to laugh out loud. Other people feared what we could do to them, but not her, and that made me even more blind with rage. My embarrassment threatened to suffocate me when noon came, and she did not die. See, there's something about her. You know, there are some people who are simply not afraid of anything. No amount of spells or rituals affect these people. Bernice was one of those people, unaffected by people like us. Secretly, we went to Bernice's house hiding in the bushes. We did what we did best. We shapeshifted. We decided to turn into 3 little chickens, clucking and pecking all about her yard. Carefully going up the steps and standing on her front porch, I pecked at the door. Shortly thereafter, she came to the door and pulled it open. She didn't see me at her feet. Since there was no one there, she closed the door in my face. Giggling, this was fun. Pecking on the door again, I spoke. "Hello? Is anyone home?" Bernice walked back to the door and she opened it again and saw no one. She didn't even pay attention to us chickens in the yard. For a second time, she closed the door in my face. The anticipation of the fear she'd soon feel witnessing a talking animal was almost good enough to eat. For the 3rd time, I used my beak to knock on the door, producing a knocking sound. Bernice, annoyed now, stomped to the door and opened it. I spoke up and told her I was knocking on the door. She peered down at me with curious large brown eyes. Folding her arms over her chest, she listened to me demand she return the $1,700 she stole. A small smile spread across her smug face. "Well, there's something you don't see every day. A talking chicken. I'm pretty hungry, too. What a stroke of luck." She called for her eldest child to fetch firewood and put a pot of hot water on because she found chicken for dinner. "Wait, what? Isn't she afraid?" She just looked at me, totally unaffected and unafraid. She was going to make a chicken dinner out of me. I could hear clucking behind me. I turned my head just in time to see Sheila and Denise running out of the front yard. Once they heard that Bernice was interested in filling her belly with chicken, they took off. Turning my head back to look up at Bernice, I saw a broom handle coming down on me fast and hard. No time to move. Part of the broom handle came crashing down on my back. I flapped my wings and floated off the porch frantically. I headed for a patch of brush right in front of me, but Bernice was hot on my tail, swinging the broom. If I get whacked one more time, she'll break my back, and I will end up on her dinner plate. well seasoned, floured, and fried. Surprisingly, Bernice came into the brush after me. Not only was I going to die, but I was going to stay stuck a chicken and eaten. My two best friends left me to die. Thankfully, I found a large mound of leaves and hid there. She stomped around looking for me. Why didn't she just leave it be? I could hear her. That was a huge chicken, too. If I find you, I'm going to wring your neck, season you up nice and pretty. Here, chick, chick, chick. She started singing a childhood song about runaway chickens and how its owner wished he had corn to lure it back. Here, chick, chick, chickie. The crunching of the leaves scared me, but finally her footsteps retreated back home. I stayed under those leaves until nightfall. Across the way, I could hear village men playing dominoes. Risking my life again, I ran out into the open and ran past them all the way home. Back at my house, I morphed back to myself. My back ached. My joints were stiff. Denise and Sheila were drunk on the verge of madness. They thought I was being digested by now. You guys just left me there to die. Denise took the bottle from her lips. I couldn't hear anything. All I heard was firewood and a pot of boiling water. I was not going to stick around to see her prepare me for dinner. If it means anything, I'm glad you're okay. That was actually the last night I ever shapeshifted. I allowed Sheila and Denise to do it, but I refused to. Even if I felt like I should, all I can think about is myself as a chicken dinner.